Hello, welcome back. This is Miss Sophia from the Bellwood Public Library coming back to bring you stories as I promised. Today I'm going to read you a story called Hot Day on Abbott Avenue. It is one of my favorite books by Karen English. And this book always reminds me of when I was young growing up playing with my cousins, and when we would fight we would be so angry with each other that we'd separate. And we had no fun because we didn't have each other to play with. It's so much better to have someone to play with than not. And it's okay when you're that angry to say that you're sorry. And you can't, sometimes when you say you're sorry, someone says, you know what, I'm sorry too. And you begin to be friends again. But let's see what happens to the two young girls on Abbott Avenue on a day when they're so angry with each other. Are you ready for this story? I am. Hot Day on Abbott Avenue by Karen English. I hope you can see the pictures where there's a glare here that I see. Hot Day on Abbott Avenue. Hot day on Abbott Avenue. Too hot to even flutter a fan. Buster, snoozing, barely flicks flies at his ears. The cat keeps to herself under the house. Radio music swirls out an open window. Miss Johnson sits on her front porch watching heat rise off the street in wavy air, and the sun drifts in the blue sky. Look at Miss Johnson on her porch. Can you see the pictures? I hope so. Kishi sits on her front porch counting mosquitoes. She counts 7. She sneaks a peek at Renee. Renee sits in the grass looking for 4-leaf clovers. She finds not a one. She sneaks a peek at Kishi. Hey, Miss Johnson calls out. You girls still mad? Forever and a day. Kishi says, yes, forever. Renee adds, it's a best friend breakup day. Later, when the fat sun drifts toward the tall stand of pine, Kishi sits on her front porch doing nothing at all. Renee sits on her front porch doing the same. Come on over here and help me with my crossword puzzle, Miss Johnson says. You know how long it takes me when I don't have y'all's help. No, thank you, said Kishi. Not today, says Renee. Not on a never going to be friends again day. That is someday. Later still, when the fat sun kisses the top of the trees, Kishi aims the water hose straight up and then jumps through the waterfall. So cool. Renee plays hopscotch by herself. You girls want to help me weed? Mr. Paul asks, kneeling in his flower bed. Not today, Keisha says. No thanks, says Renee. No working together on a never speak to her again, even if she was the last person on Earth day. You ever have those days? Those are not good days. Much later, when the fat sun hides his chin behind the tall stand of pine, Kishi sits on her front porch playing with her cat. Renee sits in the tree pretending to be the queen of Abbott Avenue. Come on and help me make a picture of ice-cold lemonade, Miss Johnson says, coming out of her house holding a wooden spoon. It's too hot to stay mad. Kishi should apologize, Renee calls down. For what? Kishi calls up. For buying the last blue ice pop from the ice cream man when she knows that blue ice pops are my favorite, Renee yells down. And mine too, Kishi shouts back. Hot days sure can make tempers short, Miss Johnson says, shrugging and going back inside. Boy, are they mad at each other. Then from somewhere down the street a distant chant. Miss Mary Mac, 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 all dressed in black, black, black. Kishi and Renee listen with silver buttons, buttons, buttons all down her back, back, back. Kishi jumps off her porch and drifts toward the sound. Renee jumps out of the tree and she drifts towards the sound. See where they're going? Sounds like they're going to the same place. She asked her mother, mother, mother for 50 cent. It's Darlene and Asia and Mickey to see the elephant jump over the fence. Jumping double dutch. Kishi begins to run and Renee too. Down Abbott Avenue to the chanting sounds and the humming rope. It jumped so high, 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 it touched the sky, sky, sky. Now it's a jump day, a jump in Lucky Socks day. Boy, does that sound like a whole lot of fun. Take my end, Darlene orders, and Renee runs to take the rhythm out of Darlene's hand. Take mine, Asia says, and Kishi runs to do the same. Now it's a rope hitting ground day, a rope making rainbow day, rope swishing air, whistling air, strumming air, kissing air. Oh, what a great day. Over and over, feet hammer the hot ground, feet flashing like lightning, making music faster and faster to the bop, bop, bop of the thumping ropes. Louder and louder until Miss Johnson, listening to the late afternoon baseball game on the radio, turns it down to hear the sound. In came the doctor, in came the nurse, in came the lady with the alligator purse. They are having a ball. Sure sounds good to me. Mr. Solomon, the mailman coming down the street, stops to listen. Miss Foster, sweeping the walk at the corner grocery, does the same. Even Buster stops his afternoon snooze, looks up, ears forward, and then flops back down. The cat slithers out from under the house, takes a long look, and then tips down the street. I bet that cat is going to see them jump double dutch. All of a sudden, Kishi hears something. It sounds like the tinkle of the ice cream truck. Again, twice on this hot, hot day. She slows the ropes, head towards the ropes as they fall down to the ground. Down the street they race for blue ice pops so good. Darlene buys a blue ice pop. Asia does too. Blue ice pops for Nikki and one for Kishi, but none for Renee. They are all gone. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is why they were so angry with each other in the first place. Here, Renee, you can have half of mine, Keisha says, breaking hers in two. Thanks, Kishi, Renee says, smiling shyly. You're welcome, Keisha says, smiling back. Oh my goodness, isn't that nice? I think that would do the trick. The fat sun has slipped completely behind the tall stand of pine. The girls sit on Renee's porch slurping blue ice pops and watching Buster chase the cat back under the house. Watching Miss Johnson sleep with her head back. Watching Mr. Paul trim his hedges. Pale blue ice juice drips down their arms all the way down the elbows. Look what I can do, Renee says, trying to lick the blue ice pop juice off her elbow. Kishi laughs and tries to do the same. Then it's a trying to lick blue ice pop juice off your elbow day. A forgetting all about what you were mad about day. Feeling good about being best friends again day. This is a story about two good friends that had a really bad day. But guess what? Because they love each other and they want to be friends, they were able to say, hey, I'm sorry. And they made up and became best friends again. I hope you can do the same. This is Miss Sophie. This is the story, A Hot Day in Abbott Avenue. I hope you get a chance to read it again. And even when we get back to the library, Miss Sophie will read it with you. But I'm signing off. Until next time. Bye-bye.